idea if anybody finds this kind of stuff interesting, but that's what I'm doing this weekend, so I figured I'd show it. Watch it if you want, but of course we've got chickens, we've got I don't know, 50, I'm gonna say like 53 that are outside, and we've got probably 20 something baby chicks inside that are gonna get moved outside soon. Oh, and then we've got 7, I think, that are about to go into here. So all total, probably like 80 chickens. We won't keep all of them. We'll sell some of them. We've hatched a bunch, and we'll sell a lot of those. But this is a coop I bought on Craigslist. I bought it cheaper than materials. It's not the best made. Guy built it, and then they were trying to just get rid of it, and so I bought it. Like I said, it was cheaper than I could buy the materials to make one. It was like, I think I paid 40 bucks for it or something like that. And we've used it over a year now. It hasn't had chicks in it in a few months, so it's gonna need some repairs before I can move it. I need to move it to a new area, get some fresh grass under it. So we're gonna be doing some repairs to it now. That's one I built out of scrap wood. I got almost no money into that one. So we've got some chickens in there, but I need to put some in here. So this is not treated lumber. I knew it when I bought it. So we painted it. We bought some of that Oops paint from Home Depot. You get like $5 a gallon. You know, where they mixed the wrong color and somebody returned it. So it's just, I guess that's a gray. Just bought some of that cheap paint, threw on its exterior paint, just to kind of give this thing a chance at surviving. And it's made it a year, but some of the plywood is getting soft in spots. But I think if we throw a few more screws in it, we can make it last longer. And then eventually, you know, I'll probably have to rebuild it, but for now, like I said, we can get some use out of it. The top comes off. See the bottom plywood's getting rough, and then that board right there and this board over here have come off. And I just slide this thing around. I used to put it on a dolly, but since it's gotten a little more fragile, I haven't done that. But basically, I would tie this run, that's what that string's for, tie it up down here, and I could put just a regular dolly up under this corner, and if I balanced all my weight out on the dolly, I could get it to lift up. That's with the lid off, and then once it was kind of standing straight up on the dolly, I could move this thing around wherever I wanted to. So since it's getting soft, we're just gonna manually slide it over, so it's not gonna move far, but I want to get it to some fresh dirt, you know, under the coop, and then we'll have you know, fresh dirt or fresh grass in the run there. It's mostly weeds now. But yeah, it's got a little roost right there. You can see where the plywood's starting to come off from the sides there. It's mainly that corner over there, and then this bottom and that side. So I think what we will do is probably latch the door and flip. We're going to take the lid off and flip it over on the side, on its side with where the door is, and that'll give us access to this side over here at the bottom, and then that over there at the bottom. And we can either replace these boards. This one looks like it might be okay. If we just reattach it, that one we might have to cut a new board. So this is kind of, you know, weekend stuff, you know. It's not all tractors and trucks and Mercedes and all that, you know. Got lots of other stuff going on here, so we will go ahead and I'll show you the brooder I made. Yeah, like I said, that one was made out of scrap. I'm trying to think if I had to buy any wood. The only thing I really bought, all the wood that's on it was scrap. And all the plywood that's on that thing is treated. It was scrap treated plywood. And then the roof tin was scrap. The chicken wire was all leftovers from when we made a run and enclosed that duck pen over there. The only thing I bought out of that was latches and hinges. So everything else was scrap. Oh, and the eye bolts. I've got eye bolts were hooked, threaded onto, and I did corner brackets. So corner brackets and eye bolts. I've got it where I hook that rope, and I've got one on each end, and I just pull that thing around with the four-wheeler. So I wait till they're at roosting at night, come out here with the four-wheeler, hook onto it, and I get my wife to look, make sure they don't jump down, and then I pull the four-wheeler around, and they stay up there roosting while we move it around. So this is a brooder. We've got a bunch of hay on top of it now because the chickens have decided they want to lay right here, and this is nesting hay. That's horse hay. So we try to keep the hay separate. But these are some that are about to get moved out. This is a 4x4 brooder, and it's got a divider in the center right there that you can move to divide it in different sizes. You can take it completely out, or you can, you know, divide it half, whatever. You know, depending on how many chickens you need to put on each side. And it's got you know, a lid on each side. It's basically made out of, I think, 2 sheets of plywood, if I remember right. Half a sheet on the floor. Is it half? Maybe 1 sheet of plywood. 1 sheet of plywood on the floor. Maybe 1.5 sheets of plywood, I don't remember. Yeah. So let's tip this thing over and start rebuilding it back. We're just doing this quick and easy, not putting too much time or energy or effort into that coop. Like I said, I'm eventually going to have to rebuild it because the plywood's just not very good. But it's a cheap and easy one to build. You know, probably 2 sheets of plywood and you could rebuild it. I wouldn't build it exactly the same as it is, but similar, and I would go back to treated plywood. But for now, we're just going to make that thing better than it is. Let me find some screws, and we'll get find some scrap wood that we can piece it back together with. The other option I could do if I really wanted to is I could probably cut you know, a few inches off the bottom, but since the side over here is starting to rot, then it's probably not worth it. But you know, you can tell they quickly put this thing together. You know, it would have held up a lot better if this actually overhang, but instead it doesn't, and water gets down in here and it's made this kind of soft. So, you know, I didn't build it, like I said. Yeah, it came with this run too. I like the runs. The run's done really well, and that was one of the reasons why I decided to get it, was because it's got a very nice little run on it. You know, this lifts up. Came with waterers, feeders, and everything. So, you know, the feeders and waterers, it was probably 20 bucks worth. So we'll let's just throw a stick in there. That'll work. And we'll lay it over on this side after I take the lid off. Well, things are worse than I thought. This thing is pretty much done for. We'll see if we can patch it together, but yeah, this whole side is gone, and the other sides are soft. We'll see. I've got some scrap wood. We'll see if we can patch it back together. If not, we may punt on this and figure something else out until I have time to rebuild this one. And you may ask why we have so many chickens. Well, you know, for us it's a business. We sell the eggs, and we have more customers than we do eggs. So add more chickens, sell more eggs. And of course, like I said, we sell chickens too. So this is what I came up with. I was kind of looking through all the scraps that I had. I used up most of my 2x4s and 2x6s when I built that one right there. And so just kind of looking through, what I found was this 1x6 that's pretty splintered. There's the rest of it. It's in pretty rough shape. It's a split there. But what I'm going to do with it, what I thought was easier, then of course I didn't have any 2x6s to lay in here, but I'm going to actually put these on the outside like that, and that should get me high enough to get into good wood. You know, all this down here is rotten, so if I lay 2x4 down here flat like it was before, I don't have anything good to tie into. And so I can bring this down all the way and have enough good wood to screw into. You know, this 2x4 is solid. It's rotten down here, but it's solid up in here. So I figured that's probably my best bet, and then we'll put this one over here. And they're good old boards. They're very solid for being a 1x, I don't know if I said that, they're 1x6s. I may have misspoken and said 2x6, but they're 1x6. So I think that's our best option. And then I may have to come up with a 2x4 to put in here, because I can't, you know, it does probably need to lay flat, so because it needs to be open. Or we may not even worry about that side. I may scab on a board and tie it in, or so. I don't know. We'll figure that out. I could use these on each end, put in here like that, and then put a board on here attaching back up to there or something. We'll see. But for right now, we're gonna screw these in, and that will give it some strength back. Well, there it is in all of its awful glory. All scrap wood. Didn't even really, I think I cut 2 of them just because they were longer scraps to use to cobble this thing back together. And I just spent, you know, half hour or so putting it all together. So we've got these are really strong 1x6s. They're thick enough that they're tied into good wood, good plywood up here, and of course that reinforced the bottom. And we're not going to put a 2x4 in here. Those 1x6s are strong enough. Those are really old, good quality boards, and they're really stiff, strong. They were all split and stuff, but some places I couldn't get in good wood, but I kind of did this board. goes up high enough to catch good wood. And so then this screws in to here, this screws into here, this screws into there. It's kind of the same thing there. This is screwed into here, this right here. It's also screwed into this board, and then this screws into here. Same thing over here, except this board actually I could catch. I just wanted another spot. This is like a 2x3 or something. I think it's actually treated. It may have been one that we had split, but like a 2x6 that we trimmed down for something. I don't know. And then this is tied in up to good wood. Sides are tied into it. I mean, it's not pretty, but you know, without spending a bunch of time on it, and just using scrap, I've got nothing into repairing this except for, you know, some screws that I already had. But it should be solid enough now that we can move it. The only real soft spot now, since we've reinforced the bottom, the only soft spot really is this top up here. This is still pretty spongy, but the board right here is pretty good. I might just slap, this is solid over here, I just slap one of these over in this corner. And that's pretty soft over there too. Let me see what other scraps I have on plywood. Oh, you know what? There we go. That's what we're gonna do. We'll cut that off. We're gonna put this right in here, and let's see, where does it need to be? And we'll cut it right in there. So let me go cut that. I'll screw this in. That'll build this side back up. I think we can catch a good spot on this 2x4. It's kind of soft right here up top, but it's solid on the bottom side of it. So I think we can catch it good there. And we'll just screw this into the 2x4 all the way down. And that should, hold on, well, I'm going to find some more screws. I'm down to 2 screws, 2 of the longer screws. So we'll see what we can find. The other thing I could do is I can come in, well, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I can find some more screws. I've got plenty of little short ones. That's what I was using to attach the plywood to this, but long ones, I had those in here, we're lacking. So I'm sure I can find some somewhere. Let me go see what I can find. All right, there we are. Like I said, these boards are split all up, but tied this corner back in. Got a few screws to catch up here, but it did good catching into this 2x4 that's running this way. So should help this side out a lot. And so I think we're done. We're gonna flip it back over and probably try to drag it up over here somewhere or something. It's kind of out of the way. So yeah, let's see if we can get it moved in position and see if it holds together. Not pretty, but it'll keep chickens in and it'll keep predators out. That's all we need it to do. Alright, it's in position, it stayed together. It's actually pretty solid once I got the roof on it. Roof kind of holds it together, or kind of keeps it from losing squareness, I guess, because it's a pretty tight fit. And so I put that on it before I moved it in position. So it's yeah, I could have spent all day and money building a new one, but I didn't have all day to work on it, and I didn't spend any money. So may not be the best. Well, it's far from the best, but it works. It does what it needs to do, and I think it would survive moving it a few more times. I think these boards, they're probably not treated, but I think they're old enough that I bet they last a year. I bet it's a year before I have to do anything with this thing again. So, unless the top goes. The top's getting a little soft. So, that piece of tin is screwed in there. When you first put the chickens in here, they have to get used to where they need to sleep. They need to sleep on here, in here, and there's the roost. So you lock them in here, and they get used to being in here. They make it their home, and then you can take the thing out to let them, you know, roam in here. If you don't do that, they end up sleeping outside, and then they get wet when it rains. So it's just kind of a nuisance, and you don't want them to get wet, especially since we're still having some cooler weather. These are fully feathered out, but they are still pretty young chickens, so don't want them getting sick after trying to sleep outside if it rains. So that'll stay on there. Just got 2 screws in it. That'll stay on there for a few days, and then afterwards they can go out and get some fresh grass. There's some fresh grass in here too, though. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up, and leave a comment down below, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Thanks.